Say, hey guys!
Hi guys!
Alright, we're in the garden right now and we are working on finishing the last of our vertical supports for our raised garden beds. We have used cattle panels in a variety of ways to do some vertical gardening, and we're going to show you guys what we're doing because we think it's going to be really awesome. Say, let's go. Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
I like the garden.
Let's go check it out.
This is what we call a Trellis Teepee. We used 16-foot cattle panels, which will produce 3 64-inch pieces. We zip tied the top. We cut a section off at the bottom, which provides teeth to dig into the dirt. And this particular teepee is between 2 4-foot beds, and we're trellising squash and zucchini. So this is the exact same teepee trellis design that we used on the last one, only this time we put it inside the bed, and we're going to be trellising cucumbers on it.
We have used 5 cattle panels to create arches between 2 of our long 48-foot beds. All we did was bend them over, sink both ends in about 3 or 4 inches, and we secured on the outside of each post with a T-post between each panel, and we've used zip ties to connect the panel to the T-post. They're good and sturdy. We've got stuff planted down at the bottom. A couple of them have Kentucky Wonder pole beans. A couple of them have either cucumber, squash, or zucchini. And we're planning on putting at least one more down at the bottom whenever we build another bed. The third and final way we have used cattle panels in our garden as vertical support is by directly attaching the straight cattle panels to T-posts as support for our tomatoes. We have 2 48-foot beds that have an entire row of tomatoes planted about 18 to 24 inches apart depending on the variety, and we have attached them to these cattle panels with loosely tied zip ties, and they essentially are forming a tomato wall. That's what we call it, at least. The cool thing about using cattle panels for supports in your garden is that they last for a long time. Year after year, you're able to pull anything off of them that is done flowering. They're pretty easy to store. They lay flat, and as long as you keep them out of standing water, they're not going to rust or fall apart. They will literally last for years of use. Cattle panels are also very sturdy. We chose them over supports that contain wood because they won't rot. They can handle a great deal of weight. Obviously, using cattle panels for vertical gardening is a really great choice. They're going to last, they're really sturdy, they're easy to put up, they don't require any sort of special carpentry skills in building. If you have some T-posts, some bolt cutters, some zip ties, and cattle panels, you can do a lot with vertical gardening. So you might be wondering, how much do they cost? Depending on where you are and what your feed store prices are, we found cattle panels roughly between $20 and $25. If you call around, there are also, sometimes you could ask about hog panels, multi-purpose panels, just anything like that. There are different varieties, and that's just referring to what size the squares are. Any of those would work for this purpose. I know we have one feed store locally that sells them for $18.75. The closer feed store that's in the smaller town, where closer by where we live, they sell them for like $25. So it's definitely worth calling around if you're going to buy several. Also, one thing you can do to maybe save a little bit of money is ask if they have any that are bent or damaged that they'd be willing to sell at a discount. Some of the ones we have had some bending in certain areas, or they were a little warped, and we got them as cheap as $10 just because we asked, hey, what would you let that go for? And obviously if you're just planning on trellising plants on it, it really doesn't matter if it's imperfect. So that's one way to save. We, for our very large raised bed garden, have spent close to $300 buying 16 panels, which we have converted into over 100 feet of tomato trellising, 6 arches altogether, and 6 different teepees for all different kinds of produce. So obviously that's a little bit of an investment, but whenever you consider we'll be able to use these year after year after year, it really actually ends up being the best choice. So So I hope that helps you guys, and we'll see you next time.
This is a Trellis Teepee made out of a 16-foot cattle panel. That's 3 64 pieces.
I'm gonna put this in the video. You're so bad. Here's my funny table down at the end of one of my garden beds. On it I have this hog planter with a mint plant, because you never plant mint in your garden beds or else it hogs the whole thing. I've got a little chicken planter with some hen chick succulents, and I have a little extra pot of thyme, because you never have enough. Ha ha, punny.